Luke, obviously back in senior national team camp, obviously in a different role now, but something you must be really excited about.
No, delighted. Obviously, long time since obviously my playing days, but haven't had the taste of coming into camp last year with Arnie and the group. In Ecuador camp was unreal. Thoroughly enjoyed it, and now the opportunity to come back in, yeah, delighted, honoured, very excited.
And you sort of touched on it a bit, obviously it has been a while from your playing days, but you made that transition into coaching very quickly and have obviously been working at PL level, spent some time in junior national teams. For you, this must be a really great step in your coaching career.
Yeah, for sure. Look, obviously I didn't even plan on going the coaching journey, but I sort of fell into it post-career, fell in love with it, that side of the game, and the experiences that I've had, obviously being a head coach from the NPL side, and the taste of it with the young Socceroos was fantastic, continually learning and growing. And now the opportunity obviously to come here under Arnie and obviously alongside Renee as well, with the experience and wealth of knowledge that they have, to continue on that journey and learning, and then obviously try and contribute and add to this group as much as I can.
You touched on it there with Arnie and Renee, two very experienced coaches, John Crawley as well. You're obviously very much looking forward to the opportunity of soaking up a lot of that knowledge and experience from those two.
Yeah, for sure, and any young up and coming and aspiring coach would be silly not to. Like I said, it's a great opportunity. I've known Arnie for a long time, obviously from my playing days, and had a little taste working with him. So yeah, I'm thrilled, like I said, with the opportunity, and look to absorb as much as I can, and like I said, try and contribute what I can.
And you talk about your contribution, obviously that experience that you have from a playing perspective. This group is right at the precipice of a journey that you've done a couple of times now. Talk us through some of the things you think you can bring to the group in that perspective, I suppose.
Yeah, well, look, obviously, I'm well aware of the playing group. I haven't watched from a distance for a long time, and I understand where they're coming from. The travel conditions that they have, where they're going through, the conditions that they face, the challenges they face mentally, as well as tactically in dealing with these situations. So I'm sure that there'll be things that I can help along the way with, and like I say, I'm just excited to get into that first camp.
And a little bit from your perspective on the group, you touched on that you've watched them from afar. What excites you most about working with this group of players?
I think we've got good depth. I think that's something that Arnie's done really well over recent years. You look at the kind of depth that we've got, the amount of players now playing overseas, abroad, which is fantastic to see. We've seen that just even this off-season, the moves that some of them had. There's a good young core that are coming through. So yeah, exciting times.
And from your perspective, you touched on a little bit at the beginning there, just the pride of being able to work with a national team, as I mentioned before, albeit in a different capacity. But just talk us through the pride you take from a role like this.
Yeah, enormous. It's hard to put into words. Look, it was the same as a player. There's no better feeling than to be able to represent your country, pull on that jersey, and now to do it and contribute on the other side of the white line it's an honour. Like I said, I don't take it lightly. I feel privileged to be in the position I am and going to give it everything that I've got. Like I said, to help contribute to what's already been achieved in this group.
And you touched on it before, the beginning of a journey towards the end goal, which is a World Cup, something you've been to as a player a couple of times. How excited are you about the prospect of that as a coach on this occasion?
It's the pinnacle, right? So as a player, the pinnacle of your career is to play at a World Cup and represent your country. And so look, I see on the coaching aspect of things, there's no bigger tournament or prize than to be a part of a coaching staff at a World Cup. So naturally, I'm excited to get into camp. These next round of qualifiers obviously is a focus to ensure that we are there at the next World Cup.